To fight was easy, but to fight for food and rent was like fighting an army of ghosts. All you can do was to retreat, and while you retreat, you watched your own brothers get popped off, one after the other, silently, mysteriously, in the fog, in the dark, and not a thing to do about it. He was so damn confused, so perplexed, so hopelessly muddled and beaten that he put his head in his arms and wept on my desk. I could have kept going.
Aggregate what they can do with the Genius team effects, and you can use like your own.
Greetings and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brett and I'm glad you clicked on to watch another book collection video. I just picked up another collection on Friday, and let me tell you, I spent the entire weekend. When I say entire weekend, it is now Monday morning. I am just getting to the point where I can shoot a video. So Friday, a collection went up on Marketplace and I was on it. I mean, everything was aligned. I felt so good. I mean, this collection was on Marketplace for minutes before I saw it. I had just gotten to work, and I'll tell you the short version of the story because I'm very excited to show you some of the things that I picked up. Okay, old business first. The paperback collection, you guys saw some clips. They're stacked to the ceiling. Matter of fact, they're right over there. But I'm so excited to kind of change it up a little bit. I can go back and forth. I can do what I want, right? We can do what we want. So this woman posted a collection, posted a bunch of books. That's all she said. She said 16 boxes of books, reasonable offers will be accepted. So yeah, I made her a reasonable offer and I punched out for lunch and I literally drove in my Dockers and a shirt and I went and picked up these books. The first thing the young girl says is, "You coming to get Grandpa's books?" That right there, I was like, I'm getting the books no matter what. Let's go back there and she has all of these boxes. I mean, stacked up everywhere. But the thing is, she wanted to keep the totes. She wanted to keep the nicer totes, the dirty, old, musty totes. She was like, yeah, you can take those, but you're not taking my good totes. So she had mentioned that on the message. So I did bring a few boxes. Matter of fact, I brought a couple of boxes and the rest were like laundry baskets that I had because I wanted them now. And I didn't have a whole lot of time because, like I said, I punched out for lunch. Okay, so the woman takes me back to the garage. I back my van up to the garage door. She shows me where the boxes are. I was like, oh, I can take care of these. She was like, no, you're gonna need some help. And at first I was like, here we go. And she was absolutely right. I did need every bit of help. It took about 2 hours because she wanted to keep some of the totes, and I was like, okay, whatever. So we're loading all these boxes into the van until the van was completely full. I drove it home. I got my son to help me. So I'm bringing all of these boxes into the house. We made 2 trips before I was done. Over the course of talking to this lady, she said, we put these books in the garage when he went into the nursing home. And I noticed that in the back of her house, they had just built a 3-season room in the back. And I said, oh, this is amazing. And we're talking about it. She said, yeah, we wanted to, me and my husband, he's military, wanted to add on before we sold the place because it's going on the market in a couple of days. I was like, wow, they're selling his house. So come to find out, he got sick. He went into they had to put him in the nursing home, and he passed away, unfortunately. And his books went in the garage from the time he was in the nursing home, I'm assuming. And eventually and over the course of reviewing some of these books, just looking through them, it was so much information. So there's quite a lot to unpack. So without further ado, I want to get to it because we're talking probably 1,500 books. So it's huge. This whole collection, everything is huge. So I'm going to get right into it. I just pull books off the shelf. It's so many that I can't just narrow things down. I just have to pull and pull. And another thing I did, I had to sort these books out the best way I can. So all weekend, this whole place was trash, right? Because they're all of these. It wasn't just one book. It's like this Will Durant set of books. I think it's 10 of them. We have it's encyclopedia sets and old 1800s and the mythology, the architecture. It's a small library. She did say he's been collecting books his entire life, and yeah, he has. So what was important to me bringing them into my space was making sure that they were clean. So I had to literally wipe down each of these books for obvious reasons. I'm going to sage them too. So without further ado, let's just get into these books, and I'll show you some of the books that I picked up. I just snatch books off the shelf. Really, I just snatch books off the shelf. My glasses. I hope that everyone is doing well. Hope that everyone is happy, healthy, and getting an opportunity to read. C. Moody. Holtz Henderson? I don't know. Holtz Henderson? C. Moody? This cover just kind of spoke to me for whatever reason. So it just seemed rare. This is literary biography from published paperback edition 1975. It says a short but thorough introduction to Soltz. I'll just say Soltz for short. Soltz's work aimed at the student as well as the general reader. Professor Moody concentrates on the enduring literary quality of Soltz's writings as well as their significance as political and social documents. The author analyzes the themes that can be traced throughout Soltz's work and relates it to numerous Russian literary traditions which have influenced him. And although Professor Moody refers to published translations of Holtz's work, he has gone back to the original Russian versions. Consequently, he has been able to include a discussion of the stylistic features of his writings, of this writer's works, which will be of great value to the student of Russian literature. Thank you for telling me what it entails. So, these are some Russian philosopher, I guess. This book, oh my God, School History of the United States, John Bach McMasters. I don't even know how old this is. I was trying to clean it, but I didn't want to do too much. So it says Mr. Marcus Harold Cox, age 12, 1918, 7th grade. That's not the owner of this book, so this book has changed hands because the because he's not the person that the latest owner of these books before me. So this book went to whoever this 12-year-old kid is before it got to me. It's just an old school history book. Copyright revised edition 1916, which I think this version is 1916. It's the old history book. Be interesting to go through this, talking about the middle and southern colonies, the struggle for the rights of the Englishmen, 1763. Liberty, property, and no stamps. This is going to make for some real votes for George Washington. This is going to be really interesting. To have a history book this old is really good information, because there are very few books that actually show the truths and the men's truths that have permeated our society over time. This book, The Old Man and the Sea, Ernest Hemingway. It's a picture. This book is $1.97. It actually says 88 cents on here, so it was marked down. You can see the brown pages, right? And so this book, Old Man in the Sea, the crusty old man in the sea. This is the 29th printing. I don't know. Copyright 1952, but it looks like maybe someone who knows a lot about these, about understanding these editions can take a look at that. If you can get in close enough. If I can get in close enough. Okay. So this short novel, already a modern classic, is a superbly told tragic story of a Cuban fisherman in a Gulf Stream and the giant marlin he kills and loses. Specifically referred to in a citation accompanying the author's Nobel Prize for Literature in 1954. Kind of reminds me of Moby Dick, published by Charles Scribner's Sons in New York. $2.25. Okay. Another book I picked up from this collection, Albert Einstein Letters to Sullivan. This is in actually pretty good condition. Oh, there he is. 1946. Look at Albert Einstein. He had the hair. Here's the intimate personal correspondence between Albert Einstein and his longtime friend Maurice Sullivan. All of the letters, records, thoughts, and observations about science, politics, philosophy, religion, as well as things slightly less monumental. Through this extraordinary and heretofore unpublished collection, we are offered a rare private glimpse of a very public and extraordinary man. Einstein writes to Sullivan about his financial straits. What a beautiful thing joyous poverty is. The rigors of earning a living, getting older, the changing neighborhood, difficult research, their Spartan lifestyle all play a part in this charming narrative. The Way of the Flesh by Samuel Butler. In looking at this, I'm realizing that I grabbed books, but I didn't grab any of the nonfiction political books, and there are probably a couple of hundred of them. 1948. The Way of All Flesh. I said the way of the flesh. It's the way of all flesh. The way of the flesh is in part, the way of all flesh. I did it again. The Way of All Flesh is in part an autobiography of Samuel Butler, who is both the Ernest and the Overton of the novel. The use of Overton as narrator enables Butler to stand back and look at himself. But it is not a mere mechanical device, for Overton is morally implicated in the events and problems. Butler was born in 1835 in a rectory very similar to the one pictured in this novel. Like Ernest, he was baptized with water from the Jordan, and his father thrashed Latin and Greek into him just as Theobald whispered them into Ernest. Butler's mother was an acquiescent woman who, like Christina, sought goodness through abstaining from her favorite putting, and who was addicted to the dreams which her son so cruelly derides in this novel. Okay. I don't know. We'll see at some point, perhaps. Okay, the next book, Jesus, the Son of Man. This is Khalil Gibran. I have the prophets, Sand and Stone. I have I think 3 other Khalil Gibran's novels, so it's nice to add another one. It's Sand and Foam, The Prophet, and The Wanderer. This is the Son of Man, reprinted 32 times since October 12, 1928. This is the 34th printing, May 1979. Upon a day in the spring of the year, Jesus stood in the marketplace of Jerusalem, and he spoke to the multitudes of the kingdom of heaven. And he accused the scribes and Pharisees of setting snares and digging pitfalls in the path of those who long after the kingdom. And he denounced them. Look at that. The sun is actually, it's not sunny today, but the sun is it's rising, so it's probably around time for me to get ready for work soon. Milton Cross, Encyclopedia of the Great Composers and Their Music. This gentleman was a true book collector. Beethoven, Chopin, Volume 2. It's in 2 volumes. This book is copyright 1953. This is a book for the music lover, an attempt to gather within the confines of 2 volumes all the information he needs on every facet of serious music. You guys out here listen to any classical music? I'll turn it on in a minute. Great composers and their music. It's a wonderful book. Okay. The next book I have is The Map Makers by John Noble Wilford, the story of the great pioneers of cartography from antiquity to the space age. Okay. Okay, this is just some kind of information on savings bonds. You can see the browning of the pages here. This is old. I'm going to stick this right back where it was, isn't it? Yes. Whoa. Gross pay from the credit union. 86. I wonder if this is for 2 weeks. This has his name. This has his social security number. This has all of his information on there, so I'm not going to. Pension, federal withholding. Oh wow, the difference between excuse me, his gross pay was $11.93 and his net pay was $213. Okay, so I think he had 500 going into one other account and 200 going into another account. I was about to say, wait a minute, man. Taxes are high, but they shouldn't be that high. Oh, okay. There's something else in here. Realty investors, shareholders information. Wow. Okay, so this is basically This comprehensive history of cartography traces the adventures, discoveries, and feats of technical ingenuity by which man has over the centuries succeeded in mapping first the surface of the globe, then the Earth's interior, the ocean floor, and finally looking out towards space, the moon, and the planets. Yeah, I don't want to put his information out there, especially if it has his social, because there are people, not saying that any of you would do it, but there are people out here with ill intent. And I think that kind of crosses the line. Ali A. Mazuri, I don't know. It's called The Africans. It's talking about African history. Let me put this down for a second. Maybe I can show you some of this stuff that's in here. It's a book on Africa. Guys, check out my art in the back. Just a painting that I did. I did it for someone, and they loved it. And then when it came time to pay, they didn't want to pay, so I didn't let them keep it. To this day, that person still asks me about that. Okay, so it's a book on the applicants. Okay, these are five huge picture books, and this video is getting ready to cut off. This is going to be like an hour-long video. Well, maybe a half an hour after all the editing, but this is India, people, place, culture, and history. It's a beautiful book. It's heavy. It has a quote on the back by Mark Twain. So far as I am able to judge, nothing has been left undone, either by man or nature, to make India the most extraordinary country that the sun visits on his rounds. To make India the most extraordinary country that the sun visits on his rounds. Nothing seems to have been forgotten, nothing overlooked. From Follow the Equator, from 1897, Mark Twain. Let you check that out if the camera allows. See if I can get in tight. Okay. It's a beautiful book. It's heavy. It's just beautiful. I'm just gonna landscapes and it's a long bridge. Southern Plateau. So it's an amazing book to kind of glance upon, you know. Call these coffee table books. You know, some of the art is amazing. Yeah, plenty of books. I won't say plenty. He has a few books on Buddhism. And move on to the next one. Yeah, like I said, he has a few books that I noticed on Buddhism. He has a couple of rows of books strictly on religion, mythology, architecture. So many books on architecture and travel, travel guides, and the military. We won't even talk about the military in this because the military is ridiculous. The next book is Love, A Century of Love and Passion. This is a huge book. This makes a good cover. you know, I kind of looked through here and saw like John Lennon and Yoko Ono and Nelson and Winnie Mandela. I think I bookmarked that one. Let me see. So this is a picture book. Let me read a little first. Love is a many splendored thing, a diverse jewel, and nowhere is that more evident than in this unique publication. Seriously, you know, and it's and by the way, it's by the years, so it takes these pictures of people from, let me get past the introduction, from 1900. From 1900 all the way through to, I can see these tabs to 1998. So, wow. Bet you this was pretty turbulent. Oh, okay. This is Arthur Miller and Marilyn Monroe, a section I bookmark. I love that picture. I thought it was pretty dope. So yeah, this is another one of those. An amazing picture book. 3 more books, and then I'll tell you what I've started reading. The Art of the Old West, from the collection of the Gilcrease Institute, Selections and Texts by Paul A. Rossi and David C. Hunt. That calligraphy is something else. Okay, so, oh, man, this is riding down on the bison. On the back it has gunslingers. I don't know what's in here. Art of the West. Oh. Okay, so it's not just art, it's photography too, because that's real. It's not a painting. It's breaking a pony in the water. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Okay, so if it's showing gunslingers, I wonder if William H. Bonney is in here, which I'm sure he is. You know, maybe we'll dive a little bit deeper into these. There's so much content here. It's amazing. Okay, the last 2. And this is my Picasso book, man. Look how this. Call you back, sis. Look at this Picasso book. This big, beautiful 2006. You get the idea. You get the idea. Okay. And the last book is Monet, or The Triumph of Impressionism by Daniel Wildenstein. We do have another one, book by Dennis Thomas called The Impressionists. A lot of people are fans of Monet's work. So now I want to show you this other book that I picked up, and I needed something to read. I need to unwind a little bit. So I found this book, and some of you already know what kind of author this is. This is Henry Miller, Tropic of Capricorn. As soon as I ran across this book, I put it to the side because I remember the author, Henry Miller. If you remember, it came on Netflix. It was called Miller's Girl with Cairo. You know, the young girl that played Cairo. She also played Wednesday. Played Cairo, and it was loosely based on Henry Miller. It was supposed to. They were trying to do that whole thing, but it wasn't supposed to be like this biographical thing. But anyway, I wanted to read this little section that I just thought was just amazing writing. Is on page 38. Just being there quiet and alone, and being less strong, less capable of defending myself, gave me the drop on him. Not that I wanted to have the drop on him either, but it had turned out that way, and I took advantage of it naturally. The moment he sat down, he went soft as putty. He wasn't a man anymore, but just a big child. There must have been millions of them like him. Big children with machine guns who could wipe out whole regiments without batting an eyelash. But back in the work trenches, without a weapon, without a clear, visible enemy, they were helpless as ants. Everything revolved about the question of food, the food and the rent. That was all there was to fight about. But there was no way, no clear visible way to fight for it. It was like seeing an army strong and well equipped, capable of licking anything in sight, and yet ordered to retreat every day. To retreat and retreat and retreat, because that was the tragic thing to do. Even though it meant losing ground, losing guns, losing ammunition, losing food, losing sleep, losing courage, losing life itself finally. Wherever there were men fighting for food and rent, there was this retreat going on, in the fog, in the night, for no earthly reason except for it was a strategic thing to do. It was eating the heart out of him. To fight was easy, but to fight for food and rent was like fighting an army of ghosts. All you can do was to retreat, and while you retreat, you watched your own brothers get popped off, one after the other, silently, mysteriously, in the fog, in the dark, and not a thing to do about it. He was so damn confused, so perplexed, so hopelessly muddled and beaten that he put his head in his arms and wept on my desk. I could have kept going. I know somebody's like, man, where'd you stop? This is not going on sale. This is mine. Okay, so let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this collection. I'm going to be bringing more of these books that belong to, I'm going to say his name. There was so many books with his name on there, but his name is, we'll just call him Gary for now. And I did find out a lot about Gary. I pieced together a lot from the conversation with the young woman who sold me the books, as well as what I've gathered so far just from his reading text, and just so many things that I found in this collection so far. It's overwhelming. When I began this, I didn't know that it would evolve into what it has, and so rapidly. So I'm very, very grateful to that. I'm very, very grateful to you guys, because without you guys watching these videos, who knows, I may have said, you know what, I'm sick of this. You know, I don't have the space for it right now, and I'm kind of contemplating a move into another place. I saw a place. It's just kind of expensive. I don't really have it, but so share this video with a friend. I keep saying that, and I really mean it. I need the views, man. So yeah, I appreciate you guys spending your time with me. Thank you. This collection, I'm very, very grateful for, and I'm very, very grateful for you for watching this video. I want to thank you for spending your time with me. Brett Bonner, and love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Aggregate what they can do with the team effects, and we usually like the